Good evening, everyone. I can never get used to this thing that it always comes on. It's now 7:15 on Wednesday night. Next lesson is about to go out tomorrow morning, so I thought I'd give my weekly reply to the discussions. From Stepping Hill, yes, I got some nice contribution there about patients managing themselves. Keeping an eye on their own weight, making sure that they're not taking too much salt. According to my correspondent Chris, on the other hand, he tells me that the evidence base for salt withdrawal and for fluid management it is a common sense thing to tell patients, but its evidence base, I understand, is pretty slim. That's my understanding. Well done. You've nicely put on specificity and sensitivity in the way of diagnostic tests. Very well expressed. I was rather impressed by that. Although I did notice that you got used as a source for all this stuff, Wikipedia. Well, okay, just to get yourself up to speed. But please don't be using Wikipedia in your essays for the final result. I don't want you being what I call Wikipedia files. No, you can't have that in your essay. And if I don't pick it up, the other markers will. The other thing, Stepping Hill, I thought you were very strong on this week were the alternative causes of breathlessness in an elderly person, let's say. And you've got a big long list then, and frankly speaking, although it is a big long list, you could have put many other things in, because all sorts of things cause breathlessness, don't they? As for South Wales, very interested in reading again. Always enjoy reading that stuff. And you know what? I'm exactly the same. I do not want a heart surgeon meek and mild. I prefer someone who looks as though he's seen a bit of action, if you know what I mean. That for a neurosurgeon or a heart surgeon, it's part of you. And I was always struck by these fellas. I was always struck by just how self-confident they were. That I might have mentioned this to you some other time, but I knew a heart surgeon once who, when he was first appointed, lost his first 5 patients. Bang, 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 bang. And how on earth do you go in for your afternoon case? How do you do that? They must just dust themselves down and think, if in the battle against disease, you've got to have a few innocent victims and go on with it. But I couldn't lose someone's slipper and retain my confidence. It crushed me. If I lose a student's essay, I feel as though I'm the worst person in the world. Not that I have. I've never lost a student's essay, but if I were to, you know what I mean? The idea that a person comes into hospital with his little bag, all prepared by the wife and all of that, and doesn't come out of it, and the only difference between him then and him now is what you did. But on the other hand, I suppose what heart surgeons and jet surgeons in general can say is, it's not just my fault, it's a team effort. There's more than one doctor involved. Yeah, but it's not more than one doctor actually wielding the knife, is it? But thank God someone does it. Thank God someone takes that feeling on. Right. Brain natriuretic peptides, again South Wales, excellently put, and I'm interested to see that your cardiologist, what your cardiologist said on the subject. Up here in the northwest, no, it's not get done. They invested all the money in echo services, as I think I've mentioned before, and it was thought at £25 a pop to be rather too expensive. But if you listen to the pathologists talk, the thing that they tell you is that it's not just about the whether or not you've got heart failure. That's an interesting one in its own right. But they tell you that the level of BNP and the angle of the curve on which it goes up gives you really interesting prognostic information. And you know, people who might look okay at the moment, their BMP can tell them something very interesting about what's in store for them. And of course, you've pointed out there that the one of the advantages of measuring a person's BMP is that it allows you the possibility of dividing the patients that you've got who've got breathlessness between the ones that you have to send for an echo today and the ones that you don't have to send for an echo at all. And here we're back to Stepping Hill's list of causes of breathlessness. You know, this might just be a 75-year-old in front of you with a bit of COPD and a cold. That's why they're feeling breathless. Not much point in sending a person like that off for an echo when there's weeks of waiting for an echo, you know. By the way, while we're on the subject, I'd like an answer to this one, please. South Wales, for a non-urgent echo appointment, how long is a person waiting down in South Wales? Stepping Hill, how long is a person waiting for a non-urgent echo in your area? The urgent ones are the problem, aren't they? The urgent ones just go straight to the front of the queue. It's the non-urgent ones that I'm interested in here. In France, you will get your echo if the doctor thinks you need an echo. First of all, he's probably got an echo machine in the room with him, and if not, you get sent up the road and they will do an echocardiogram for you in a little shop. In fact, what I'm going to do is I took some photographs last time I was in France. I took some photographs of an echocardiography suite, and I'll see if I can track them down, and I'll put them on. I'll put them on Blackboard for you so you can see. You know, in France you don't have to go to a big hospital to get your echocardiography done. Diastolic failure rare, depends on who you read. It just depends on who you read. I from my reading, it's rife among elderly women who've got nothing wrong with their ventricles. It's just that they're stiffening up. And there are cardiologists who are making their living, who are making their name out of talking about the diagnosis and the treatment of diastolic heart failure. And yet there is this controversy. One last thing before I finish. Claire, I was gutted to read that your thing had timed out. I was gutted, you know, that you'd done all that work and then it just vanished. Here's a tip for the future. Instead of writing it all in Blackboard, write it in Word and then cut and paste it into Blackboard. You won't get that problem twice, I'll tell you. And I bet you it was cracking stuff as well, but there you are. What can I tell you? But well done, those who've contributed to the discussion this week. Still waiting for a couple, frankly. Anyway, I'm still waiting for one, particularly from South Wales. No pressure or nothing. But very good indeed. Well done. Nice contributions to the discussion. I hope you enjoyed the one that's on this week, and you will see my pleasant little face smiling at you all the way from the north next Wednesday approximately. Start thinking about your essays. Good night and good